Hey, it's Rob, and welcome to Axel's Garage. Covered in sawdust because me and the big dummy who's behind the camera have been trimming trees all morning. But I wanted to get this done before we had one more night of somebody using this truck with a headlight out. So, like many of you that have these era trucks, you know that the headlights tend to go out, and it's not the headlight, it's the wiring, just because the heat and the thin wiring that GM used into that socket, the socket gets all just gets all angry because of the heat over the course of many years, and that socket's bad. So when the headlight went out, of course we gave it a quick bang, but I knew the headlight had to be pretty good because we replaced them not too long ago. And I reached my hand back there, we pulled the light out, and as soon as you wiggle the socket, the light comes on, goes off, comes on, goes off. So we zip tied it in a spot that held it, a little tension on it to keep it on, and that only lasted a trip or two, and it keeps going out. So I actually usually have these on the shelf in the garage because we've had a couple of these vehicles and then I was out of them. But here's what it is. It's a replacement headlight socket. They come two in a package. Even though it says quantity 1, they come two in a package. I'll put a link to it in the description below. So, and it's good to buy the two and keep one on the shelf because these things do go from time to time. And it's a pretty easy fix. So let me open the hood, get a couple simple tools out. And Alright, so like we've done in a previous video, taking these headlights out is really easy. This is the one thing that engineers actually did well. Alright, these two pins come out, and the headlight assembly comes out, and you can see if we jiggle this, the headlight's still on. See, jiggle it a little bit and the light comes on, and jiggle a little more and the light comes off. So what we're going to do is we are going to unplug it from the headlight itself. Robbie, can you see it there? I got a zip tie on it, trying to hold it, give it a little more tension, but that really didn't seem to work too well. So, alright, take this clip up and you can pull it out, and there's that socket. Alright, so these get like this. This is just because they used thin wiring, and the headlights generate a decent amount of heat, and it just roasts these wires in there, and that's what happens to it. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to put the headlight down there because we don't really need that right now, and I'm going to turn the headlights off so that we don't have power in the circuit. So with the headlights off, I'm going to take the new connector and I'm going to see I got a black wire and a black wire and a brown wire and a blue wire. So I know black is going to go to black because they're oriented this way. If it was oriented this way, it would be the other way around. But we got it oriented, so I know I'm going to go black to black and then the other color to the other color. It doesn't really matter. And I'm going to cut it back because this gives you a little bit. And I'm going to cut it back a little bit. Hopefully the wire is better back here than it is up front. And not really concerned with staggering my splices, and the only reason why is because it's in a big loom and it's not really anything where I need to make it look nice. Alright, now you can put these wires together however you see fit. I am not going to solder them. You could solder them, you could twist them and put tape on them, or you could use a butt connector. I have found that twisting and taping them is almost as reliable as using a regular crimp-on butt connector.
Do most handy people have that tool?
This tool, yeah. Or some, I mean, you can use regular side cutters or dikes, whatever you want to call them. Having the tool definitely helps. That's a new one, as you could tell, because I tend to lose things. So we got a new one. And what I am going to use for this repair instead of soldering is I'm going to use these little connectors that have the low temperature solder built in. So what they will do is they'll go on the end of the wire. Okay, thread the wire through there, and you get the wire with insulation in the red little ring in there, and the bare wire in the middle, and then your other end of the bare wire in the middle, and with a little, which is a regular cigarette lighter or a micro torch, you hit it with some heat. The low temp solder will melt the two wires together, and these rings will constrict, and this whole thing is heat shrink, so it'll shrink up on the wire and make a nice weather-tight seal. They actually work pretty good, especially if it's something like this where it's not going to get tugged or anything, and it's going to beat a loom away from everything. If you wanted to shrink wrap it and tape it up, that's up to you. However you want to make the wires go together, make the wires go together. The repair will be the same. Push it in so that the wires are together. You got the little red rings over the insulation, and then you grab your heat source.
Okay, leave that on.
Yep, I'm going to leave that on. And you can see the right in there how the low temp solder starts to come apart. Once that solder starts to move, you know that you got a good connection. This one here didn't really melt as well. Yeah, it's not really, the camera's not made for that close up. Yeah, you can see it's starting to melt the solder, and then you know you're good. And that's it. Now you let these cool. They are covered. If you want, you could, because they're clear, they sort of give the impression that they're bare wires. So if you wanted to put some tape on them, you could put some tape on them. But that's a good connection there. So we'll turn the headlights back on. It's sort of it's a little unnerving because they're clear. You know, and usually when you put heat shrink on it, it's black and you can't see it, and when it's clear, it kind of makes you feel like that it's not connected well. All right, and then we're gonna plug it in, but it's not gonna go in because did the wrong one. Should have checked that before I did it. This is the high beam side. Look at that. Alright, so see how it's got one cut in the middle? That's the low beam side. And this is the high beam side. I triple checked the part number because I have run into this before. Not that big of a deal, we could make it work. But I have run into this before, and it's hysterical that we're running into it again. So let me go get a little razor knife and I'll show you what to do. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your weather seal off. And then you're going to come in here with a razor knife without cutting yourself, and you are going to just slice off that center groove.
Should you heat it?
No, when you heat it, it gets mushy. You like it to be cool, because then it doesn't get mushy. You just have to be careful that you don't slice your thumb, which is very easy to do. So you just get that groove off, and once you have that groove off, and it doesn't affect how it locks in place. Now, if you got enough of the groove off, it'll slide right in. There it goes. And get it in good. And now our headlights on. Got the wire in the loom. I'll just put a piece of tape over the end of the loom like there was originally, just to hold it closed. And now I can push the loom back so that the headlights slide into their brackets. Okay, and then you take your rods. And your brunt connector and your tools. That's it, we got working headlights again. Now, like I said, when I did order them, I saw on one of them it said low beam, the other one said high beam, and then I looked at another part number and it said low or high beam. And I had remembered in the back of my head that there was an issue. I remember going with a razor blade and slicing the thing off once before, and the ones that I ordered are definitely for the high beam. I think I got the part number listing from Rock Auto, and then I went on Amazon. But I'll put a link to the high beam ones and the low beam ones below. If you get, if you're buying that 2-pack and you're going to use one, put one on the shelf, get the high beam one because it's easy to cut that little nub out. This way you can use it for high beam or low beam, and you got it on the shelf. That's it today from Axel's Garage. It's a quick one. We're losing the light, and what else do we have to do today? We got a bunch of stuff we're doing today, but that's it for this headlight video. Easy fix. Thanks for watching.